Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Marketing and Training here. And today we've got a great webinar. We're going to be going over down payment assistance programs. And we've got Derek Nichols from Clearview Mortgage to help us understand what the heck down payment assistance is. Good morning, Derek. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I'm doing well.
Excellent. All right, perfect. So, Derek is, of course, our Clearview Mortgage specialist, and so he is our go-to guy for anything mortgage related. So we thought today would be a great opportunity to explain down payment assistance programs, what they are, how they work, who qualifies, all that good stuff. So with that,
Yeah,
take it away, my friend.
yeah, no worries. So basically, what I wanted to hone in on today was more specifically a down payment assistance program called Cal HFA. We do offer a bunch of different down payment assistance programs. We have Chinoa, we have CHDAP, and in Cal HFA we also offer. The one thing I like about Cal HFA, and the reason why I'm talking about that in particular today, is because, quite frankly, it's not a second that you're getting when your client goes to get a home loan. They have to put down percentage of down, whether it's 5% or 3.5% or 20%. They're required to put some money down unless it's a VA loan. What Cal HFA does is it gives a grant. So it's actually not even a second, or it's not a silent second or anything. It's actually a government money that is used to give the buyers the source of the down payment. So they're still coming in with the closing costs, the third party title and escrow fees. However, they're not obligated to bring any money down. So with Cal HFA, the way I like to structure it is you basically think of it as an FHA loan, where a buyer is going to put down 3.5%, and they're going to finance 96.5%. Well, what the Cal HFA does is that it actually supplies the buyer with that 3.5% down. So, and it's not a second. It's a government grant. So, what's great about this is that if you have a buyer out there who has, ideally, you want at least a 640 FICO score. You get a little bit better pricing at 660 and 680, but the bare minimum we were looking for is 640. So if you have a buyer who's got a 640 FICO score, but doesn't have a lot of cash in the bank, but obviously, they don't have a lot of debt. They have a strong income as far as their job. They have good stability with employment. They just don't have that down payment. This is the perfect solution for that, because what this does is allows them to have a government grant to supply them with that down payment. And again, they're not obligated to pay it back. It's government money.
Wow.
And yeah, which is pretty amazing. And also it's a solution for a lot of times you have a client who's looking to buy a property, and again, they have good job stability, they make good money monthly, but they just haven't saved enough for the down, or they have money for the closing costs, but they either don't have enough time to save for the additional monies needed for the down, or if you want to pull the trigger now, you can, using this product. And again, the FICO scores we're looking for, or credit scores rather, is at least a 640. Although pricing does get better as you have a higher FICO score, so 660, 680, those are all helpful. And when you're talking about interest rates with Cal HFA, you got to remember they are covering all of the down. So it is priced a little bit more aggressive than a standard FHA. However, you're still looking in the high fours. It's not anything crazy. It's not a hard money deal. It's still a solid government loan that's kind of tied to the FHA format. And that's the way I like to structure it. The reason being, again, is just because it simplifies the process. It's easy to explain to your buyers that, you're doing an FHA loan where we're going to cover the down payment for you. So it doesn't have to be gifted from a relative. It doesn't have to be something that you liquidate a 401k for, or your savings account. You can actually use government funds to cover that down. And that's why, in particular, I like Cal HFA, and I'm more familiar with it because it's one of the simplest down payment assistance programs that we offer. We do have a few others, which I'll go into probably later on in future webinars. They have a little bit more overlays as far as guidelines. So for some reason, Cal HFA doesn't fit the niche of your buyer. We do have other options, but that's really what it's designed for. If you have a buyer who everything's good about them, but they just don't have a lot of money in reserves or for that down, you don't have to wait. It's not a well, maybe the next one. This is actually a solution that we can help save the deal, save the transaction, keep things going for you, the agent, and then also for your candidate, for your buyer. Um, yeah, so that's basically the ins and outs of it. Of course, if you have more questions, you can always reach out to me, or email me, or call me. I'll make sure that Kevin, if you could post my phone number and email address. That way everyone can reach out to me if they have, more detailed questions regarding this. But I just want to make
Absolutely.
sure that, yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that you have options. It's not just, well, they only have 1% and not quite enough for the down. So I guess we'll have to wait or see if they can get money from relative. Like, by all means, let me know. We can scrutinize the deal, see if there's another program available,
Yeah.
that'll solve this for them.
And are there any restrictions on this, Derek?
Well, there are overlays that Cal HFA has. Like, for example, we're looking for at least a 640 FICO, and as far as the debt to income ratio, meaning how much debt they have versus the income that they make, they're a
Yeah.
little bit more conservative than a standard FHA. A standard FHA, you can get away with going up to 55% on the DTI. With a down payment assistance program, they're usually capped around 45%.
Got it.
So they just want to really want to make sure that your income is solid and you don't have a ton of debt. So that's why when I talk about, they have at least a 640, they have solid employment, they're making good money. They just don't have those reserves, that down payment. This is an absolute solution for that. And then I have a few other options as far as other down payment assistance. So if for some reason, this doesn't work because they're tight on monthly income and tight on reserves, then still reach out to me because I have a few other options that we might be able to come up with to keep the transaction on the tracks and keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. And so, besides this is Cal HFA. Besides Cal HFA, you did mention one other one, the Chinoa. What would be the difference in that one? What is that?
Yeah, Chinoa and Chidap are other down payment assistance programs, but they're not grants. They're actually like a
Got it.
second and third. So
Got
yeah,
it.
for example, if we structured it the same way like an FHA, where you were financing 96.5%, then the other 3.5% is broken up into roughly like 2 and 1.5% for a second and third. But again, those are loans that they're offered, so that way you can basically do 100% financing without having to be a veteran. That's what that does. But
Got
it
it.
doesn't. But they are second and third loans. And keep in mind, you know, the interest is very low. I mean, we're talking about like 5% on the second and third, and with that, it's a small amount of money. So even though it's not free money like the Cal HFA deal, it's still very minimal in monthly payments, and it's still a great solution for someone who doesn't have those reserves or that down to cover the down payment required for the home purchase.
Right. Is there any situation where you could apply for both?
Well, no, it's a good question. It's pretty much one or the other. So, like for
Yeah.
example, what we would do is we would look at the scenario and plug it with Cal HFA ideally, just because it's a grant. And if that didn't work because of Cal HFA's guidelines or whatever the case may be, then we wouldn't just give up. We would just let's try Chinoa, let's try Chidap, let's see what other options we have until one fits. And then ultimately, if the client just has a tough scenario where just every solution isn't quite coming up with with a readily solution right at this time, then we can still do a diagnostic and say, okay, here's what we need. It may take a month to get, but here's what we need. So that way, you and your candidate, they're not like, well, not scratching their heads like, well, what do we do now? You have a solution, you have a game plan of what the future is going to be and what you need to do. So that way, yeah, we always have a plan for you. So it's not just, well, even if we can't do it now for whatever reason, here's what you're going to do in the next couple of weeks to get this done.
No, I like that. One other question is, well, actually, two little deals. First, it would be great to have like a little cheat sheet that I could send out to our agents, and give them those specs. The 640 FICO, the 45% debt to income. Would you mind putting together a quick little cheat sheet that I could send out with our replay?
No, I absolutely have that. I have it's actually, it's a little bit more, I guess what's the word, descriptive, because it covers everything, but I definitely
Even
have that
better.
it's like an Excel. Yeah. So it
Even better.
shows, the options with a conventional Cal HFA, structured as a conventional deal, an FHA structured Cal HFA. So I can send all that and all the pertinent guidelines with it, which are very, it's not rocket science. And you can look at it and understand exactly and just follow the chart. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. So I can send you that, and I'll work up the same things for Chinoa and Shadap, so that way everyone can just see it. That way they can review it and kind of get a basic feel for it. And then, of course, if there's more involved questions, please reach out to me so that we can go over this together. But yeah, I'll be sure to send that to you.
Okay, that's perfect. And then, of course, as Derek said, I mean, on a case-by-case basis, if you have questions, if you think your client may, qualify for this, don't hesitate to reach out to Derek. He's such a resource. He's going to be able to help you. He's going to be able to talk directly with the clients, however you want to do it, and make sure that the client has the most information. So if they do qualify for these programs, they can get free money. Why the heck not? So really, really appreciate that, Derek.
Yeah, no worries. Glad to share the information.
All right, perfect. Well, with that, I really appreciate you being on the webinar. I think I've got one or two little things to go over with the agents. You're welcome to stay or you're welcome to pop off. But again, thank you very much, Derek. Much appreciated.
No, well, likewise, Kevin. Thanks for your time, man. And I'm gonna actually get going, but I appreciate it, and I'll make sure to send you those Excel spreadsheets, giving you kind of a summary of these products.
Perfect. Much appreciated, my friend.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Derek. Okay, and so one thing I wanted to show you guys today is with the single property websites. So this is, of course, in our agent marketing system. Our single property websites, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but we do have the ability to, broadcast open house information on our single property websites. So here's one for Jillian Dowler. She's got an open house this weekend. So we can have that information right there on the front of the single property website. So this is a nice looking single property website. You can click on this and you can add it to your calendar. So when you send this out to prospects, they can, easily add the open house to their calendar. They know that it's there. They can click on this for more information, get a little bit more description about the property. So it just kind of makes it one of those things that's kind of nice. So on the back end, the way that works is, this is, of course, from the dashboard. The way you get to your single property websites, you click on your properties. And then we have got this little tools icon right here. So click on the tools icon and you've got open house dates. So you can click here and you can add open house dates. One thing that they have is they have a little deal where you can, post this to Facebook, and this is what would be posted to Facebook. Honestly, not my favorite layout. So, it's a really cool thing to be able to send out to people. But I think it's honestly a better idea to just go ahead and send this URL and put that into your Facebook page. And then use that as, if you're going to boost the post or if you're going to send it out. And in fact, Aris Nunez just did this, so I'll show you his example. Let's just cruise down here. So Aris, instead of clicking that little button and showing what they have as their open house communication, we've chosen to just post his link to his single property website. And of course, we've boosted this post. And so he's got San Jose open house. He's got his information up here. And then instead of going to literally, let's look at it again. This kind of cheesy, layout with bad images, bad colors. We go to his beautiful one-page website that looks much better. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. These one-page websites are great, or single property websites. They're not actually one page. It's all kinds of pages that you can go to. But I want to make sure that everybody knows about these pages. Everybody knows how to work these. And if you're having trouble, definitely schedule a one-on-one with me. And we can make sure that you're using these single property websites. Of course, as most of you know, once you're set up with the MLS and you upload a property into the MLS, this should automatically kick out a single property website for you, as well as all of the collateral material. And then, they've got their little share button here, so it makes it easy for you to share stuff on Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, Craigslist, and you can email it to specific clients as well. So we're going to keep this webinar short today. If you guys have any questions, of course, you can contact me directly. Remember, there always is the chat feature in our webinars, so if there's anything that you're confused about during the webinar, please don't hesitate to ask a question, and we'll always answer that. So again, if you need direct assistance, my phone number is area code 949-285-7209, and get out there and make it a great day, guys. Thanks a lot.